Yo, this is Dice and Knight, and welcome to episode 54 of the Sup'm Show. And today's topic is to be or not to be a mama's boy. And I find a whole lot of interest in this topic, considering that I have a fairly close relationship with my mom. But I want to know exactly, like, what is a mama's boy? And is it a bad thing or a good thing? Do I qualify as being a mama's boy? I don't know. Well, to help out with the discussion is our special guest from last week. She's back again because she was just amazing. And it is a pleasure to have her back on the show with us. Ans, how you doing?
Good, good, good. How are you?
I'm excellent. And your mom, I think
Yes,
we said that last show. How do you feel about the
yes.
topic just when you saw that it would be the topic? Like what was your first thoughts?
My first thoughts truly was I am trying my hardest not to raise mama's boys.
Why? I mean, you is it okay? So let's take it right from there. Jump straight on into it. The term "mama's boy." I guess I'll
Mhm.
start with some controversy. For me, I feel like that's something a woman created. I don't see a man like looking at another person and being like, "Oh, you're a mama's boy," or
Daddy's
saying it in a
girl.
negative way. Yeah, there's daddy's girls. We
Mm-hmm.
have we have daddy's girls, and
Uh-huh.
and I believe we have a daddy who's a favorite right now. In fact, before I even bring him on,
Uh-huh.
the man with the master plan, hitting up every flaw in the universe and making it more than it was before. That's how we going.
Uh-huh.
All right. But Kent will he may be late or he may not be able to join us because he's spending time with his daughter. So see, daddy's girl.
Nice.
And with that said, my man, what's up, JP?
You know what it is, the best flooring technician, intergalactic, solar system, universe,
All
All
that.
around,
and
all
in between.
around. All right. So we was already up on defining a mama's boy because I made the controversial statement. Yes, I know it's controversial that a woman came up with that term. Because personally, I see things mostly in the positive. And I can't see what would be a problem in a man having a close relationship with his mom. So let's go into defining what it is about that relationship that turns it into a bad thing. So how you feeling, Warren?
Um, that's a very thin line to walk for
Mm.
a
For sure.
man. There's a big difference between caring for your mother or, being there for her. Because you got some mothers out here, there's a such thing called son husbands.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And to be
Let's bust
quite,
up.
was
Go
that?
ahead. I,
To
I, I
be, to
want to bust
be,
up the definitions of these statements. Son, husbands, mama's boy. We got to
to
define
be,
them.
to be quite honest, sometimes mothers are wrong, and you got to see it for
What?
what it is. Like, yeah, man, I correct my mom all the time.
Aunts? Have you been corrected
By who?
by your son?
I mean, he's able to share his opinion, but I
How old is
feel
he, by the
like
way?
say it again.
How old is he?
15. He'll be
Well,
16
see,
this
that's the
year.
difference, Dyson. I'm
Okay,
Right.
all right.
46, bro.
Okay,
It's
yeah,
different.
she ain't quite qualified for to dig into it,
But
but you could talk about what you see. Yeah, what?
what I think, okay, so what I think separates just a man who cares for his mom and a mama's boy, truly, that only, to me, that comes into place when that man is married. Because I
Hmm.
feel like mom is number one. But when you're married, okay, now wife is number one. So I
Okay,
feel like mama's boy comes into play when even when this man is in a marriage, his mom comes first.
I still ain't getting. No, let's rip it apart now. Number
Okay.
one, like, what do you
Okay.
mean number one? Let me see if I know because I have my own view.
Right.
If your wife needs you to cook dinner, but you told your mom that you would come to a family event and cook dinner, you feel as though the wife you can't go and cook dinner as you promised your mom until after you cook dinner for your wife. Does that mean that your wife comes first?
I feel like a conversation could be had with the wife,
Mhm,
and if
mhm.
she's level-headed and understanding, they can come to an agreement to how about we just cook enough food for everybody, and she can eat from that.
Agreed.
So
Hmm.
that's then that
So,
wouldn't be. He wouldn't have to really choose because he's still cooking regardless.
how do you think? How do you think that makes the mom feel?
What you mean?
That she has to
Play number
step
two.
down from something that, yeah, play number two, even though, and this is in a situation whereas the mom asked first. Go ahead,
Go ahead.
Juan.
Let me hear this.
Okay, so I moved my mom from the Bahamas over here in my home over a year now. Right, my mom lives with me. Okay, with us.
Right.
And for the first, say, 2, 3 months, there was a slight power struggle, not from between my mom and my wife. Okay, because there was a power struggle on who say what and what should get done and who should I listen to. But here's the thing: my mom knew I always had a personality where I think for self, and my
Right.
wife also understands that I think for self. So I would tell both of them, none of y'all tell me what to do, straight up. And on top of that, I run my household with an iron fist. No argument in my household over stupid shit either.
So who is this mama's boy? Like, what does this mama's
You,
boy
you
do?
know what? I think when you get a certain age as a man, you should be able to have a conversation with your mom to the point where she must come to an understanding that you're an adult now. You understand? And she must understand that you've moved on in life, not moved on so far away from her where you're out of touch, but moved on to the next stage in life. She's no longer, I mean, she always will be, but she's no longer, that person that when she speaks, you jump. I feel that, don't get me wrong, when the wife speaks, you don't jump either as a man. But I feel as if,
Lord of mercy.
your wife should get first preference
Yeah.
Yes.
over your decision before your mother. That's just how I feel.
So a mama's boy is someone who gives his mom priority over his wife
Yes.
or significant other.
Yes.
Priority over everything,
Yeah. Literally dropped everything to go.
everything, not just
Right.
life, everything.
Yes.
All right. So I
Or
mean,
his mom is never wrong. That's a really toxic. That's a really toxic trait right there. No matter what she does, she is never wrong. He can never see the wrong in anything that she does, even if she is.
And it's so funny. Parents can be toxic.
Yep.
Parents can be very toxic. And I'm not talking about the young parents. I'm talking about the old back in the day parents. They could be extremely toxic to the point that they'll play off of your feelings and emotions to get you to sway a decision a certain way or to sway a decision just to spite the other person. Trust me, I've seen it.
I was just thinking that mama's boys, well, mothers would, and here's the positive again. Would a mother in a man's life would serve as a protective measure in his relationships? Because often I hear women say, especially to their significant others who have female friends, that they don't understand what that friend could be up to. We don't see it, like a man doesn't see it. So, in a sense, whereas the parent is toxic, there could be situations where the significant other may be toxic and taking advantage of the son, and in that case the son may not be able to see it, and then the mom sees it and tries to intervene. Is that a good or a bad thing?
I think I think that's a good thing. If she notices something to be able to talk to her son to say, "Hey, this is what I observed, this is what I noticed." But a
But if
lot
he
of
listen to
times,
her, isn't he a mama's boy?
not technically, not really. Not if she's talking with sense,
Mhm.
Who
you know.
determines that?
Now that's up for debate.
Because
That is
I'm
up for
thinking,
debate.
I'm
Uh-oh.
thinking, I'm
Just
thinking like there's no, you good. There's there's a certain amount of space in a relationship because Ruckus said something, and I want to like talk about cultures in
can you guys
various
see me
cultures.
okay?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I'm
we
just
can see
checking
you.
off my light. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. We got you. Um, in certain cultures, it is expected that a mother would keep a close watch over her son. And I remember there was a situation, I believe, with a soccer player who was married, and he put how did it go? He
That's
put
just
Oh, I
being
saw that.
smart. That's
Yeah,
just
that was
being
very
smart, though.
wise.
That was just being smart.
That was smart.
That has nothing to do with mama's boys. If you can't tie that
No,
in,
no.
that's just being a business-minded
Yes.
individual to the point that if these modern-day females try to take advantage of my millions, you're not getting it done. That was very smart. And who else to put the money name in?
Right.
Who else would you do it?
I mean, they would say you put the money in your wife name, and these are let's talk to some of the tricks that a wife may pull. Maybe like, oh, we supposed to be you supposed to love me, you supposed to trust me, you supposed to do these things, and for all,
Ain't that
if you
gaslighting them?
really look at it, yeah, but maybe all right, okay, so definitely if her intentions is impure,
Right.
right? But if the intentions are pure now, and the wife now feels as though she is not trying to walk him into any trap or tricks, but
Hmm.
he's not listening to her, he's not trusting her, she doesn't feel trusted, she doesn't feel honored and loved
You don't
and
need to be married.
prioritized. Wow,
You know
cold.
what though?
How could you be with someone who completely doesn't trust you? You have
I
to
was
have
just about to say
trust.
that. I was just about to say that. I was just
But
about to
he
say that.
Yeah,
only
like what's the
he
point?
only doesn't trust her because his mom says she up to something.
Let me tell you something, Dyson. We're in a situation like that occurs, right? There's more things and problem deeper than that
Right.
that they need to figure out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just the thing that triggers. But
Right.
I can promise you other things happen in the past and probably still happening that they need to address. That just triggers the outburst, in my opinion.
Okay, so Ruckus just cleared that up to say that the money was in a joint account before the marriage, and so it's not considered a marital asset. So that was his own little sly way of having a prenup. Y'all
Right.
believe in prenups? Or
Smart
all
thing,
men should have
smart
I
one.
do.
prenups?
I
Or
believe in a prenup. I don't see anything wrong
Absolutely.
with a prenup
Absolutely.
because if
yeah,
you're not going into it for this person's funds or what they have, and it's just for love, what's the problem?
what other type of true? What other type of protection?
A,
What other type of protection?
a mandatory DNA test at birth.
I could dig it.
We had that discussion.
They need to make that happen. They need to
I
make
mean,
that
and
happen.
it's painless. It's just a swab. I mean, why
That's
not?
it. But you
All
know
right.
what? That right there, just briefly, as far as here in this country, I know it is in the Bahamas. That would never happen. The reason why that would never happen, the government here benefits greatly off of situations like that.
Kanye
Just
Mm,
all
child
day.
support.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would never happen.
Well, yeah, we dug into that, like how
Hmm.
it's positioned, and then that brings me to another point because we are the product of systemic slavery. We still walking our way out of that mental state, and one of the effects of slavery was a separation, well, a placement of the mother or the woman as the leader of the household.
mm.
So now we could really dig in. With that said, we could dig into what type of child rearing, or how is a child, a young man, a boy, raised to be a man and ends up being a mother's boy? Like what type of things does a mother do? And I was thinking at first, like it may be, hello, you're welcome back. it would be, it would be, it would be ideal for. Wait, what was I talking about? Lost my.
What kind of rearing
Right.
happens from a mother's
Right.
What you drinking today, bro?
What I doing? Who where?
What you drinking?
This
tea?
this tea. To be honest, I feeling a little under the weather. That's why I got on my jacket and everything. But No,
Okay.
but I good,
Just
man. I good.
wondering.
I know
Just
mama's
wondering.
boy. I
Okay,
don't
but
think. I
drinking,
don't
you
think.
drinking Tito. That's
Yeah.
a mama's boy shit right
Yeah.
there.
Drink some tea
Anyway.
and go to bed.
Yeah.
But yeah, what type what is it that forms or conditions or produces a mama's boy?
Enabling
Let's dig into it.
parents. Okay.
Enabling meaning.
Treating a son different from a daughter. In a sense,
Mm,
the mom is more lenient on her son, but harsher on her daughter. The
mm,
daughter has to do more things. The son, he gets passes.
mm-hmm.
And I think
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
starting that as a child and then going right into adulthood, then when he's in a relationship or a
Good breakfast.
marriage, it keeps going. She still enables him. If the wife even comes to her like, hey, your son is whatever, she's still, oh well, enabling him, his behavior or whatnot.
So I was thinking about that, and then I want to circle back to that systemic, the result of systemic slavery, right?
Mhm.
In today's modern world, you know how it's. Anyway, I won't dig into that right now. But my son, and he just reached home from work, right? He said this the other day, and I found it interesting. I hope you don't throw anything at me. He said, "Daddy,
If he do, he's definitely a mama's boy.
my sister didn't wash my clothes." And I thought about it. I thought about it, right? And I was like, "What?"
Did she make him a sandwich?
I'm like,
His sister didn't wash his clothes.
"Yeah, now I understood. Well, see, and let's talk about this. I don't mean to put
Okay,
him out there like that
Yeah,
because
add
he's
some context because
I love this
please.
little boy. Like I remember the first time he fell out of the bed, and I walk him down the street, must see a mile and back, with my heart beating out my chest. I love this little boy, right?
how old is he?
He's 18 now.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, he's mine. And in fact, on his 18th birthday, when he cut into his cake, I said, "Okay, now that's the last thing I buy in you. It's the last thing I buy in you, right?" but but no, he said this, and then I came into the show thinking, like literally, his mom, and I hope she don't throw anything at me, but she is the type of person that wants everything a particular way, and she does a lot. Like she's very clean, very neat, very particular. So instead of allowing, for instance, on the washing clothes, instead of allowing him to wash the clothes and mess it up a couple of times, she would prefer to do it for him. And that's how he was raised. Now, me on the other hand, right?
Okay.
I'm the type of person that says, no, let let the boy wash his own clothes.
Yes.
I'm also the
Yeah.
person that says, let the boy go outside and play. It's like the only time they go
Yes.
outside and play is when daddy give them the okay, because she don't want them to get dirty. And maybe not even speaking to this family in particularly, but a mothering mother, right? A protective mother. Maybe we should talk about and think about, because we were saying how not to be, or how not to be a mama's boy. So this on the side of not to be.
Hmm.
How do you break away from that type of protection, that type of reliance,
Be a
in order
man
to
about
not
it.
be a mama's boy?
Be a man about it. Handle your own shit.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but I
and
mean, if you
also
ain't used to having your own
being
stuff.
like, because like even going back to what you were talking about with your son and your daughter. So I'm sure your daughter had to learn how to wash clothes.
Yes.
So why didn't he also learn how to wash clothes?
Well, they two different personalities. One,
Okay.
the daughter is a mother hen, right?
What does that
She's
even mean? What does that mean, Dyson?
meaning that she believes she's the mom of the family. She tells everybody what to do, when to do it, how it
So
That's a
should
does
be
that
done.
problem. That's a
also
problem too. But go
would
ahead.
that but does that also mean that she believes that mother role that she's supposed to clean up after a male and wash a male's clothes, and he can't do it for himself.
Oh no, I don't think that was the situation. So I'll give it more context. The reason why
Yes.
his clothes didn't get washed is because she told him, she
Uh-huh.
said, if you want me to wash your clothes,
Yeah.
sort them out properly.
Okay.
And he did not,
Okay. So he
right?
asked her to do like a favor for
No, no,
him
no,
by
no, no,
washing
no.
them.
Remember,
No?
remember, she in charge. She can't
Oh,
ask him to do. He
okay.
can't ask her to do
Okay.
anything. She she determined that it was time to get these things done.
Okay.
So she is making the move to do laundry, and she say, "If you want your clothes washed." So this kind of lead me into that, because see now we have a son and a daughter being affected by how, and this may be quite directly related to the fact that me and their mom, they grew up with me and their mom not being together, so they
Okay.
only know about her being in
Her
charge.
way. Right.
Right.
Okay.
And
Right.
so we're talking about, and there are a lot of homes out there where even though the father is present in the children's lives, he's not present in the home.
Yes.
So you have a situation where, as I see the girl would see mom make it, because they don't really know the type of relationships, intimate relationships between the mother and father. Like they don't know exactly what type of role the father is playing because they don't see it,
Yeah.
right? But they see mommy doing things, they see mommy doing all these other things, so they feel as though mommy's in charge. So is it that type of culture that has led to us having and do we have a lot of mama's boys out there? And
Yeah,
can they be excused because of this?
So here's what I'll say. Um, Before remarrying, there was a period where I was a single mom after my first divorce. Um, and in our household, it was just me. Like you said, the mom doing all the things. But
Right.
my son is oldest. So there were certain things that he learned before his little sister. He learned to do dishes before her. He learned to wash clothes before her. He learned to clean his room and to tidy up and stuff. He had chores long before she did. So then when she got to the same age that he started, the same thing happened for her and it kind of shared it. So I feel like to try to steer away from being making him a mama's boy, for me, I just try to keep it even, straight across the board. No
Okay.
exception, just fair. I mean, everyone's doing the same things. There's not really, I would say the only thing that's different that we separate from them is my son will take out the trash. That's
why?
and that's only because that's a little bit of a walk outside,
Mm,
so his little sister isn't going out there.
right.
But outside of that, they share the kitchen and the chores, and they wash their own clothes. Separately, they do their own thing. So I find that being even between both son and daughter, no one feels like they're closer to mom. It's more even. So he can't feel like a mama's boy, and she can't feel like mommy's favorite or a mama's girl in a sense.
One more, one more characteristic and reason, possible reason as to why a child may be a mama's boy. My youngest son is his mom's last child, the
Baby.
baby.
Mhm.
Now, my mom has four boys, and the last child, we often call him the favorite. I don't think he's the favorite. I think she
Mhm.
loves everybody like according to their needs,
Right.
right? But if from the outside, or for the three other boys, we would definitely say he's the favorite because he gets the most in a sense. Probably because he asks for the most.
Hmm.
And that's pretty much probably what it is. So the baby is the baby in the family excused because of that's the mom's last chance. That's the last hope. That's the
No.
last, because the oldest one on stage jacking off his shirt,
Oh God.
right?
Yeah.
Want to know about that?
Don't bring me in that, son. This is the PG show.
Oh my
Nasty five plus one.
I won't call out the other two, right? But the other two, they pretty much on their own run, right? They have a lot on their plate. They doing their own thing,
God.
and the youngest one is the last hope. So, and she feels with all of us that she only want the best, right?
Yes.
But I think, and maybe we could talk about moms for a second, about moms not always being right. And I hope she don't throw anything at me. She break her TV when she watch this. But my mom is be wrong a lot, but
Oh, God. I think
in my
self-awareness.
opinion, in my humble
Self-awareness.
opinion, mom,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because you know the protective nature of a of a passionate person, and we talking about somebody's kids, and I trying to dig myself out of a hole here. You would jump on anything that seems to threaten the prosperity of your child,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and that would often make you a bit too act a bit too quickly. You know what I mean? Without understanding exactly everything.
Well, to be fair, I'm not really a fair person. I'm the villain. I'm the villain of the show. So,
But you
but to be
damn right,
fair,
Ruckus. Hmm.
the majority of women are highly emotional. Okay, and that's moms
Right.
included.
Right.
Okay, so they
You agree,
will.
Ans?
That what?
Women are highly emotional.
But
Let me
I
put
think
you off
that's
to the
why
side.
both parents are needed in the house, because I feel like mothers are emotional and softer, and dads can bring a firmness, or
Yeah.
more straight thinking, less emotion.
Okay.
Mhm.
You know
All
what I
right. Go
mean?
Yeah.
ahead, then. What?
So I agree. Yeah.
So, as I would think, as a mother to her son, she has it now. Obviously, I'm not a woman, but correct me if I'm wrong, Ans. Here, you have to. How I feel, you have to be very careful how much you pour into your boys, as far as from a emotional standpoint.
Mm.
Love is one thing, we get that,
Hmm.
but there's a like
You
I
mean
said
like telling them
earlier in
it's
the show.
okay to cry?
You know what? I disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's okay to cry as a man, right? I think it's okay for you to cry on your own, behind closed doors. I
Okay.
definitely don't think it's okay for you to cry in front of a female. I'm old school. Reason being that not all females now,
Okay.
but the majority,
I'd say all.
they take that and run with it, man.
Not
They take. Now,
all.
I'm not talking about
Absolutely.
sons. I'm not talking about sons crying in front of their mother. That's a whole different scenario.
Hmm.
I'm talking about in a relationship situation. I don't think you as a man should ever cry in front of no one. Only two things. Only two times you should cry in front of if you're in severe pain, sick, or you lost a loved one. That's an exception to the rule. But I'm talking about just crying based off of what she tell you, based off of what you find out,
Because
based off
life
of
is
how
too
you
hard.
feel. Huh?
Okay.
Hmm.
I wouldn't. I
Okay.
I wouldn't know what to do with that, because I.
Exactly. See, Dyson, let me tell you something, bro. If you want a
Cry,
woman to
baby.
dry up, listen to me. Hear me out.
Wait a minute.
Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me right here.
I ain't paying attention.
If you, the quickest way, gentlemen, listen to Uncle JP, okay? The quickest way for a woman to dry up for you down there like a Sahara desert is you to be a crying, whiny bitch around her.
Mm.
I'm telling you,
Mm.
she will lose attraction to you so fast.
Mm.
Don't get me wrong. Initially, she may be all, but nobody wants to have a crybaby 24/7 around them all and touch their emotions so hard to the pack to the point that you're more emotional than her. You need to be at a time point instead of her.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's dig into these mama's boys then, because I think,
Exactly. You hear what I can say? Crying
yeah.
in front of a woman, she will eventually weaponize that against you. 100%.
But
Yeah.
again, like you said, it depends on what they're crying for. Because I think it's okay for a person to have feelings, for a
Let
man
me
to
ask you something,
feel.
Ans.
Go
Let me
ahead.
ask you something.
Okay,
Okay,
Hans.
you're married, right?
Yes.
Okay, how long you been married for?
Ooh, almost 4 years.
Okay, cool. So if your husband comes on one day and be like, Hans, you know what? I had such a bad day to work today. Oh Lord, I don't think I can do this no more. What would be your reaction? What would be your
Not him.
reaction?
So, honestly speaking, I
Yeah.
cannot even picture my husband doing that.
Listen,
Not
okay,
him.
But
what would
if
be
he
your
did,
reaction then?
I would console him, but at the same
Okay,
time, my face the other direction would be like, "What is going on?"
okay, and that's fine, right? Now, let's just say he do that this week, right? And then
uh,
next week he come on with the same shit. What would be your reaction?
I would tell him that we needed to talk.
We talk
You
about
know,
what?
about his feelings. Like, what is really going on? Does he need to
And
see
if
a
he tell you, you know what,
therapist?
I'm just so emotionally torn right now. I
Uh
just
huh.
can't deal with life and working. How would you feel
Right.
about it?
I would
Would you
ask him
lose attraction to
why,
him?
but I no, not right away, because I mean,
Exactly.
no. But what I'm
Eventually, though.
saying, it depends. It really depends, because I feel like sometimes people go through things,
Absolutely.
and the man that I'm married to right now, if he were to go to that place, I would feel like something is really wrong, because this is
Yeah.
not normal for him.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So, but I would also want him to feel comfortable enough to express himself if something was going on. I don't want him to
Y'all read that,
hold it
Dyson? Read
in.
that for me right quick.
But nobody wants a
Nobody wants a
crybaby woman
crybaby
either,
woman
right?
either.
It goes both
Yes,
ways.
it
Hey,
does goes
but
both
Debbie, guess
Thanks,
what?
ways.
Debbie.
But that's your nature, though.
Oh,
That's your nature.
to cry?
Y'all come,
What's our
no, not, but
nature?
listen, when I say cry, and I don't mean physically tears come from my eye, no, just like the cry and complain. That's the majority, not all. Don't
Okay,
crucify me now on a
okay,
Sunday.
uh-huh.
That's the majority of women's nature. You guys complain and whine about random stuff.
Hmm.
Well, I would like to disagree.
Go ahead. I didn't say all.
Okay,
So
I
maybe
was
you're
about
that
to
rare.
say.
Maybe
What's your
you're that rare
disagreement?
0.5%.
Because I mean, truly, and maybe this is just my circle of sister
I
friends,
agree with that.
but we aren't complainers. I mean, we are
Huh?
logical thinkers. You know what I mean?
I
Exactly.
know Debbie was
Based
coming
off
back.
what it is.
Hey, Dyson, that's why I said what I said, bro.
Okay,
Come on,
okay,
man.
okay. You're
I
right.
know
Go
she's
ahead,
coming
Ans.
back.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Ans.
What?
Go ahead.
Wait, hold on.
You got to
I
know how to
because
trigger these people, man.
listen, I don't. Truthfully speaking,
All
you,
cap.
but
All cap right there. Ans, read that, please.
that's my best friend. I don't
Answer.
cry and
You read
complain
it.
Do you agree
often.
then? Do you agree with your best friend?
All cap.
What?
All cap.
When she says she doesn't cry and complain often?
She
Come
does
on now.
not.
Yeah,
She
all
Okay.
right.
does
What you
not.
All right.
what you
So she
don't
could be an
what you
exception?
see. What you see.
No, if
What do you
What
the
mean?
you
best
see.
friend will know. The best friend will know.
No, best friend, bro. Listen, Tyson. Now you know how to nasty
But she
fight used to
said
move back
this.
in the day, right?
Yeah,
Come on.
she said
Come
she
on.
said this, and I'll look at both these comments right here. Women can cry, and that's a flex. Now, that is, I believe that. I believe that women
Keyword often.
weaponize crying.
Keyword often, she said. Often.
They cry to get their way.
That's it. They cry to manipulate.
Well, well, some women do use crying as a manipulation,
Yeah.
but some men
Debbie
also
all
use
day.
it too.
All day Debbie crying to manipulate. All day.
Yes.
Some
Yes.
men can definitely use it, but that's why I believe in logic. I don't
Yes.
believe in, if you're feeling emotional, you're crying, please stop crying so we can speak, use your word. That's just the way my mind works. You know what I
Right.
mean? Let's see what Deb said. JP mentioned because someone is crying every week. Yes, they may
Right.
be depressed. That's what I'm saying, because that's not normal.
No.
So crybabies cry a lot. Crybabies get. I don't. Men don't have the luxury. I mean, in today's society, in relationships, we don't have much of the luxury to be depressed or to deal with our emotions, and that's one of the reasons why there's, the suicide rate for
Yeah,
men is so
higher.
high.
Yep.
Mental health, men being on drugs, men being on alcoholics, all these situations is because there really is no
Outlet.
out. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no outlet.
Hmm.
And because there is an outlet now, we're not allowed to take it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we know, because everything JP said, and what you guys have said is facts. If you crying, then you weak.
No.
As a man,
That's how society. Yeah, that's how
as a man,
I
society's
mean,
gonna.
yeah, because
Yeah.
it all
nobody wants
depends
to
on
be
what you're
around a
crying for.
crybaby.
It depends on what you're crying for.
Yes, that is important. It depends on what you're crying for.
So
It really
I'm
depends.
under the weather now, and you can't tell me I ain't dying, right?
Oh Lord.
You weak, bro. You so weak, but
You can't tell me. I in the couch with the shakes,
Oh God.
right? Right.
Uh huh.
And I mean, I don't see it. This is how I feel. That's
Right.
really and truly how I feel.
Yeah.
I can tell I have a little temperature because my body feels much colder than what it actually is.
suck
Yeah.
it up.
The
Stop
environment is.
crying. Stop
But
crying
as
and
a
suck it up.
man, I'm expected. Like people would actually look like my son came up really, Daddy, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Well, take some medicine, you know? Okay, you good now? Like the expectation is for a man to always be powerful,
But
always be
yeah.
strong, right? So
But
okay, let's go ahead.
okay. I get the expectation, but I feel like just like how you're what
Oh, go ahead, Hans. I'll address this when you're done. Go ahead. Go ahead.
you
Go ahead.
see the manipulation I'm talking about right there, and that is my husband.
K Mac is your husband?
Yes.
Listen to me, K
Okay.
Mac. Okay. Oh boy, you should have never tell me that. K Mac, listen to me, dog. Listen to me. Listen to Big JP right here. Listen, listen, bro. You shouldn't even have a doghouse. Doghouse
Period.
fair. You shouldn't have no doghouse, bro.
See,
Wait,
you see
Listen,
what I
please.
mean?
if Hans ever send you to the doghouse, you need to tell her the whole house is my doghouse. Send me where?
See,
Send me where? That's like a man
I
saying he have a man cave. The whole house is my man cave. Are you crazy?
so
All right.
right, and with that said, the negotiation now is how does a because you said that's manipulation.
Yeah.
How does a woman express? And I really want to see. I could tie this into being a mama's boy and not being a mama's boy.
Okay.
But how does a woman or what is a woman allowed to do when she's been wronged or when the husband did some nonsense?
Uh huh.
Any type of nonsense. You promised
Right.
you was gonna be here at a certain time. I was
Right.
counting on you. This had some serious effects, and it's all your fault. You in the doghouse. Like, can you not? Can you say? I mean, and the doghouse pretty much meaning
I
because
think
I
doghouse is like a hypothetical thing. I don't think it's a
right.
yeah.
That means you ain't getting no affection. Cook
Oh
your
no,
Okay.
own
that
damn
shouldn't
food.
be. That
All
shouldn't
right.
be.
I got the answer
No.
Right?
too.
That's the doghouse. You cook
The
your own
doghouse does
food.
not exist in my house.
Okay,
Hey,
let's move on.
according to K Mac, there are multiple doghouses in your house. Okay.
No, please. It is not.
Not many people do, Ruckus.
K
See,
Mac
I don't
say
be in. You see
K
what he
Mac
said?
say
I
Yeah.
crying.
don't be in
K Mac
none.
say crying is a way to get out of the doghouse. So
Yeah.
apparently K Mac stay in the doghouse. Okay, Mac, get your boy
In
up,
his
bro.
past
Get
life,
your boy up, bro. Get your boy up
not
there.
this one.
I miss what Debbie was responding to in terms of telling JP no, but I wanna dig into finding these mama's boys.
Okay.
Yeah.
And call it. Let's call them out for a second.
I
If
was
Mhm.
you
actually
X
married to
Y
a
Z,
mama's boy once.
perfect.
Yep.
What is it about what is it that makes a mama's boy a mama's boy?
I feel
What
like I
give?
felt like, for
Yeah.
me, I felt like he was a mama's boy because on both spectrums of it, um, no matter what he was doing to me, when I spoke to her about it, she found an excuse
Mm.
for him,
Mm.
no matter what. Okay.
Yeah.
And
This
no
K
matter
Mac you
what,
talking about.
no,
No,
no, no, no, no,
her
my
first
ex
husband.
husband, ex
I know
Right.
that.
husband.
I know. Go ahead.
Mhm.
And then no matter what she did, he saw nothing. And I'll give you an example, a quick example. So, and this is, I'll give you an example on both ends. First, on her end, she had our two kids. They were together with her. It was in the winter time, but now they were inside the home. The kids were hot now because they have on all
Mhm.
these layers. She
Mm-hmm.
was
Hmm.
standing up. I think she was talking to a store clerk. One of the kids asked her, "Grandma, can I take my jacket off?" She
Mm-hmm.
didn't respond. The other kid said, "Yeah, Grandma, can we take our jacket off?"
Mm.
She didn't respond.
No respond.
When they left, both of them got pinches behind the neck, right? Now, listen, when they got home, my son is rubbing back his neck. I'm like, "What's wrong with your neck?" So he's like, "Mommy, I don't know. Grandma pinched us." So when I looked back, the skin was off.
Oh my God. Okay.
So now I am livid because I'm like, what could they have possibly done to warrant this? I
Mm-hmm.
bring it up to him. His response is, "Oh, she didn't mean to do that." I'm
Both
like,
of them had the same injury.
yes.
Wow. Well, that's
Wow.
deliberate.
The son had more skin off. My daughter had like a scratch. But the crazy
Mm.
part about it was the next time they saw her, when they came back home, they said she made them apologize to her. He made the kids apologize to her
For telling you.
for yes.
Mm. Yeah, that's definitely on
Wow.
the mama's
So
boy
now
shit.
that's on that end. And on the flip side, um, my ex-husband physically dragged me across a room by my hair in front of our kids, like little kids.
It's
When
horrible.
I said to him that I would call the cops, he didn't even respond. When I
Hmm.
said that I would call his mom, he stopped.
Stuff.
When
Yeah.
I called his mother, she came, he left, she collected the kids. We talked for a little bit and she said, "Well, you know what, Ants? There aren't many good men out there like him." What?
Yeah.
Wow.
What are you
So,
saying?
classic
Yeah.
mama's boy here.
Yeah,
What are you
hey,
saying?
hey, Dyson,
And
he is a historic mama's boy.
Yeah.
listen, and when I filed for divorce to leave, she tried to convince me not to.
Wow.
Mm.
So she literally and for me, it was like, if this were your daughter, what would you tell her? I am somebody's child.
Yeah.
Hmm.
As a woman, what would you do? So classic. And that was that's always how it was, enabling, not acknowledging anything, not trying to correct nothing, just
And that often results in something Ruckus said earlier was on the screen now. He said, a lot of times women mothers condone what their children do,
yeah.
and then you find them buying clean hollering. For those of you that don't know where buying clean is where the courts are,
Hmm.
where they drag the accused to be judged.
Oh,
So, yeah.
ah,
So,
that's
yeah.
right.
Right.
Hmm.
So the officer's dragging an accused down Bank Lane, and the mom is out there saying, "Oh my good son,"
We
or
All I
see,
can say is, and without going in too deep, all I can say is Ruckus is right.
yeah,
we see the same type of actions on the show, The First 48. Anybody ever watch that?
Yes.
mm,
You would have these
Yeah.
moms and their sons out there murdering people on the block, and when their son finally get catch up with and they get murdered, they mom be all over their body like, oh, he never do nothing to nobody. He
Uh-huh.
just, oh, he's such a
Oh, he
good
was
boy.
such
Come
a
on.
good boy. Yes. He was such a good boy. What?
Hey, that time he already murdered like 15 people.
oh
He was a good
Lord,
boy to her. That's all it
yep.
was. Not to
Yep.
everybody else.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
na- before we wrap things up, maybe we could, because I think we found the mama's boys. You have a very good example, and I believe there are a lot of mama's boys out there, like JP said, simply for two reasons that we discussed earlier. One, how women have been placed as the authority in a lot of households. There's only the mother in there, right? And we understand. We had a show and we talked about why that is, why the courts, why the system give women so much power in that regard.
Hmm.
To kick a man out, and the expectation that the man, if the woman say, "Come out my house," he got to go, right?
You ain't built her a house to begin with. She should be in your house.
Correct. And even if it's a joint house,
I was gonna
that
say,
yeah, that type of that type of bullying should not exist. You understand what I'm
Correct.
saying? That
That
type
Yeah,
should
of
never be an
bullying
option.
should not exist,
right.
Correct.
and that's a cultural thing.
Yeah,
Especially we get right. We agree.
yeah, man.
And then there's the other hand that a lot of mothers raise their children to be very reliant. So their mommy is the only person they really and truly trust. And we said that that could be a good thing as well as a bad thing. But in a situation whereas the man, a grown man, has to can make a decision on his own, can conduct his own household without bringing his mother involved, right? And that's a situation much like what you shared with us, Hans, and thank you for that, where
Hmm.
there's a problem in the household and mommy have to get a call.
Hmm.
You don't deal with it like a grown up situation.
Correct.
Call the police and that threat being like, okay, cool, let me chill. Call your mommy and then you all of a sudden you whipped into shape. That's
Exactly.
different. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's totally different. But let's get some final words in regards to pretty much where to draw the line between having a good relationship with your mom and being a mama's boy. And I think I'll close it out. But JP, you talked about bringing your mom from moving your mom into your place
Hmm.
and the challenges that exist at first. So I think you'd be a good
That,
person.
that challenge exists for like a week, right? And I straighten it out like that.
Let's talk about how not to be a mama's boy with that very same example.
Exactly.
Well, um, to be real, you should always have love for your mom. Okay, no matter what. Love for you.
Yeah.
You know what? Love for your parents in general, mother and father. Okay, but there comes a point in time where you, as a man, I'm a what?
No,
What do you say?
no doggos for K Mark. No. You good for another 6 months, bro.
He good for another. He good till next Sunday, bro. Let's
We
stop it.
good till next Sunday.
Anyway,
Oh, next Sunday.
Yeah, speaking
next
about next
hey,
Sunday, go ahead.
next Sunday he ain't even allowed on the internet. Cut it out.
Oh Lord.
Anyway, but as a grown man, especially in a marriage or even in a serious relationship, you must take the initiative as a man and draw the line. I feel when dealing with your mother
Yes.
Yeah.
because let's be honest, moms can be very very influential over their sons.
Hmm.
Moms can be very manipulative over their sons,
Yeah.
and even if you ask them if they are, be quick to tell you, but never. But you understand because she wants to be seen as that motherly figure, no
Right.
matter what. But I feel when you enter a serious relationship over a period of time or a marriage, your number one priority for your mom or your wife should be your wife. Most definitely. I do think your mom should take a back seat to that situation. Not too far back there, but definitely a back seat. I feel a more successful relationship is when you keep your parents out of it.
Yes.
I think it'll
Yeah.
go way more successful. I'm not saying they can't give advice,
Yes.
Right.
but when it comes to giving advice, they must give you advice. They must not get into it and giving advice on a situation like what they're saying is God's word,
Right. What
Right.
happened? Yeah.
okay, and gospel. Like you usually do it like this. So you know, I think for a man, it's not too cool to be a mama's boy, man. You got to be on your own. You got to raise your household on your own thoughts, your own feelings, the way I do think things should run.
He's a good guy,
And
Debbie.
hmm?
Talking to Debbie. I say he's a good guy. Don't buy one.
Okay, then.
Sorry to break your train of thought, bro.
Yeah, no. So I feel as if once you enter that marriage, your mother or your father should definitely take a back seat to your significant other. I'm gonna leave it there.
Yeah. Yeah. Ants, we have the same topic.
So for me, my mindset is aimed at moms. Because I feel like as a mother, as you're raising sons, I feel like you should be intentional when raising them, as if I mean, like you're raising someone's husband. That's how I raised my
Yeah,
kids. You're raising someone's husband. So I've even had these talks with my son, like one day, you're gonna get married, and it's gonna be your wife and then mom. And my son's reaction was, "What? No." And I'm like, yes." That's just the way it goes.
Right.
mhm,
And so even now, I'm instilling in him that yes, we want to give you all the tools to get you started in life so that you can have a good boost. But when you get out there, then it's your decision. When you choose a partner, it's them first. And I have my own husband to take care of me. I don't need
yeah,
my son to take care of me. You know
Right.
what I mean? So I think that mothers should be cognizant of that when raising sons. That way they
Yeah.
don't lead them into a situation where they become the mama's boy.
Yeah.
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 For sure.
Yeah. So I'll leave it there.
Solid. Well, I mean, I think every situation that we bring to the table, I would say almost all, have a lot of aspects we're not able to dig into because the world, in my opinion, is a very crazy place. And I'm saying
Mhm.
that PG, right? It's
Yeah.
really crazy. And I think what we need to do is remember what's really important, and that's for the love to be true, to act in love, to move forward in love, right? Because there's some things that wouldn't happen if you move in love. The
Right.
type of relationship you have, true love. Because Ruckus mentioned some things in my research. We have some places in the Bahamas that is guilty of this, and some of these out there situations where women have all types of relationships with their sons,
Mm,
right? And we have to understand that it needed to be okay for men to be men.
Yeah.
And whatever it is that you choose to be, we should respect that. And you should also respect other people's personal space and choices. And as long as we do that, I think we would have steps towards balancing out the world in terms of humanity, having being humane, right? Yeah, so big topic, great topic. Mama's boys out there, I hope you learned something. I hope you learned that, what you're doing ain't cool. If you didn't know before,
You know.
you don't have an excuse to be an idiot. I just trying to not curse.
Good job.
would you like me to do it for you?
Absolutely, because that got to drive home. You,
Mm,
you don't have the option of being a complete.
fucking idiot.
Thank you, and because your mom isn't right. If she's telling you to do something, and everybody has that innate ability to know right from wrong. You know you're wrong.
Hmm.
Accept it.
Hmm.
Man up. Take responsibility for your own actions
Yep.
and wash your
Take
own
the
clothes.
consequences that come along
And
with it
wash
too.
your own clothes. That's right.
All right, yes. So that's episode 54 of the Sup'm Show. To be or not to be a mama's boy. Next Sunday, ladies and gentlemen, the topic is
Muy
what.
caliente.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a goat pepper conversation. We're
Yeah.
discussing why most women don't climax, but almost all men do. Boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. Y'all can drop some comments below. Make sure you subscribe to the
Mm,
Something Show. Make sure you share it. Tell people what we're talking about next week.
right,
The prompt is already up on our YouTube
right.
channel for that show. So
We putting
if
we
you
putting the
haven't been,
squeeze we putting the squeeze on y'all next week. The squeeze,
ooh yeah,
Child, please.
the tight squeeze,
the
the
tight
must
tight
come back
squeeze.
squeeze.
Ugh,
Listen, tomorrow's show is gonna have to be 2 hours. Not tomorrow, next Sunday.
Sunday, yeah, next Sunday, 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. I probably
Hans,
promise
make
I'm
sure
gonna.
make now before the show end, right? I want you to do me a favor. Can you do me a favor, please?
Yes.
make sure
Uh-huh.
you give that dude the keys to that doghouse. You need to get up.
What?
He ain't getting it out. All
There's
right.
no doghouse.
I didn't
All
say it.
right. Thank you all for joining us. I'll see you all next Sunday. Salute. Peace.
Peace.
Bye.